Well, another day working on this Grampian, and I finally have the floors in, as you can see. So next step's going to be tabbing, and then after the tabbing we're going to give it a coat of paint, so it should look pretty factory. I've also got to cut the hatch board that goes up the center, but not too big a job. Done in about 15 hours, I guess. So stay tuned, we'll keep working on that this weekend.
A sailboat in the moonlight and June. Wouldn't that be heaven? Oh, heaven just for two. A soft breeze on a June night and June. What a perfect setting for letting dreams come true.
Welcome to another episode of Windover Water, and this week I'd like to talk to you about lighting. Lighting is very important on a boat because boats are dark, generally speaking, and without good lighting it can be kind of a dreary place to be. So we always try and put good lighting in the boats. Now, whatever boats we've owned have always had decent lighting. I've got a little bit of regular kind of mood lighting that'll light up the walls here. The problem with most boats is that they've got incandescent lighting and it just sucks up the battery power. This week we're going to do a little bit of installing of some new material. I've got to do some work on the engine, but I can't see very well in the engine compartment, so I'm going to add a little bit of lighting. Now, we have been upgrading the lighting on this boat. We've added a lot of LED lighting. As you can see, fixtures like this are throughout the boat. I've got them in the galley underneath all the counters as well. Now, these fixtures are really expensive. I mean, I think we paid $80 a piece for these, and we've got about 6 or 8 of them on board. So in the engine room, I didn't think it was as important to have something that was as durable as these. These are really great lights. You see how they have a nice rubber button on them, and the button turns red when they're shut off, so it's easy to find the on-off switch. The new ones aren't quite as fancy. I think I paid $20 for a pair of them, and they came from Amazon. So let's have a look at those. Now, although they look very similar, these lights are a lot cheaper. The plastic is not very hard. The lens is not very hard. They do seem to have a good number of LEDs in them, and they come with these mounting fittings here, so you can screw these into the wall first and then just click them in. So that's how we're going to mount them in in the engine room. They also come with this kind of 3M double-sided foam tape, so you can just stick them on, but I think in an engine room I'm going to want to screw them down for sure. So anyway, let's get those in. Now it is early evening, so it's not very bright out right now, but I just want to show you the before when I'm working on the engine room. I've got kind of a dark cave that I have to work in, and it's very hard to see what you're doing. And I actually broke a part because I couldn't tell what I was doing, and that's a part for the cooling system I'm going to have to install. So I thought before I get too deep into it, I'm going to put in some proper lighting in there. So. Now that's what's left of the old fluorescent fixture up there that used to light this room quite nicely, actually. There's a switch on the panel that I can use to turn it on and off, so I don't actually have to go and turn the switch on, which is fortunate because the switches on these two new lights are really cheap. So anyway, that's going to come out of there. Might have connectors on that. Okay. So this is the old unit. It was a fluorescent fixture and it draws 30 watts. So it's going to make a big difference to get some LEDs in there. Let's try it out. Okay, here we go. Look at that. Pretty pleased with that. That's really lighting this room up. Let me just show you the difference here. And look at that. Now I can see how dirty it really is. Okay, we're going to add one more, folks. A sweaty mess after all that, but you all remember how dark the engine room used to be, and look at it now. Isn't that something? It's going to be so pleasant cleaning that now. This year I'm going to go over every inch of this engine and we're going to clean it up like she's brand new. The engine room in the Bristol 41-1, I believe the 43 and the 45 are the same, is lined with lead. That's all lead plate there, folks. And the weight of the lead plate dampens the noise from this engine. It also is a bit of a fire stop if ever there was a fire in here. Metal lining. So very, very well built boats, eh? Look at that in the doors. Well, another small project done, but you know, refitting a boat is just a series of small projects. So, and I can't go sailing. So we're still sitting here in Ontario with a lockdown underway. Our provincial leaders have been quite wise in opening up very gradually and ensuring that as many people as possible have been vaccinated. So get vaccinated, stay socially isolated if you can for the next little while, and let's try and beat this thing. Another 2.5 weeks before we go in the water, folks, so a few more videos like this one coming up. But isn't that sweet? Now, just as I'm cleaning up, there's one final thing that I want to leave with you tonight, and that is light bulbs. I want to talk about the bulbs that were on this boat and the bulbs that we replaced them with. Now, most boats come with incandescent bulbs, like this one, and you have to be careful when you're placing your order for these that you've got the pins in the correct configuration. So sometimes the pins are not parallel to one another. That's these pins on the side. Sometimes the contacts are perpendicular to the pins, like in this one, and sometimes the contacts are in line with the pins. And sometimes the contact is just one single pole. So make a note of that when you're ordering your bulbs, because you don't want to get bulbs that have a different configuration, and it's there's a lot of different styles. So it's pretty easy to get mixed up, and most people get caught with that. I actually got caught with this one. You can see that the contacts are in line with the posts, and the posts are not even with one another. Can you see that? So that doesn't fit in our setup. Now what we've got is the same bulb in an LED, and that's what we put in all of these lights here, all of these ones throughout the boat. And you can get them in a blue or in a yellow style light. Now we get the yellow one because it's not as harsh, and it tends to make a bit more of a mood light. You know, on the wood it looks really nice. And then we use the LED lighting in the bars for places like the galley, where you want a nice bright white light. So that's what's here, and you can see that's nice and bright. Really nice to work with, you know, when you're looking for food in the refrigerator. So that's all about lighting. Join us next week when we don't know what the heck we're going to be doing, but we'll find something to film, and hopefully we'll be in the water soon and we can enjoy some sailing, which is really what we're all about. So have a good week, folks. See you Friday. Is it going?